Hey guys, what's going on? It's Clever Techie, and in this HTML tutorial for beginners video, we're going to cover basic HTML. So what is HTML? HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language. It's made up of elements. HTML elements are marked by tags, and HTML is designed for displaying web pages. So HTML is really not a programming language. We can say that HTML is a markup language, and it's made up of tags. So here under tag, you can see what the opening HTML tag looks like. So it just consists of a left angle bracket, which is a less than sign. It consists of a character and a right angle bracket, which makes up the whole opening tag. Now the HTML element is a little bit different than HTML tag. So element consists of an opening HTML tag, a closing HTML tag, and the content in between, which makes up the whole HTML element. So that is a subtle difference between HTML tag and HTML element. Down here you can see the structure of what the basic HTML page actually looks like, which consists of HTML tag, head, title, and body. So all HTML code goes inside of the HTML tag, which defines our HTML document and lets the browser know that we're about to start coding in HTML. Next, we got a head tag where we put JavaScript, CSS, meta info, as well as the title tag, which is why I have a title tag here. Inside of the title tag, we put the title of the web page. And then we have the body tag, which is where most of our HTML is going to live. And this is going to be the visible part of the web page. Alright, so now that we know what HTML is, what the tag looks like, what the element looks like, and how to code a basic structure, let me show you guys a HTML cheat sheet that I created for you. Alright, so first I have the most common HTML tags. And with the description of what they actually mean. So I have H1 through H6 headers. EM means italic, strong means bold, U means underline, etc. Under structure you can see the HTML tags that apply to structuring the layout of the page, as well as a short description of what those tags mean. Under attributes I have HTML attributes which apply to their respective HTML tags. And we haven't covered HTML attributes, but if you look under a syntax, you can see that that tag name can have an attribute with a value which is assigned with an equal operator. And the value can be, for example, we have a tag named font, and we wanted to make the font of the text a different color, so we would use an attribute color instead of the attribute name here, and then we can say equals quote or double quote blue, and that will make our text blue. And here is what the element looks like again, and down here you can see what the HTML comment looks like. And then we have self-closing tags, which are BR, HR, and IMG. BR stands for breaking line, HR is a horizontal line, and IMG is when we want to include a picture or an image on our web page. Also up here we have a doc type HTML, which is how we let the HTML know that we're going to code under HTML5. So it's a HTML5 declaration. Alright, now let's actually create a basic HTML web page by coding HTML. And we're gonna keep referring to this HTML cheat sheet, and I'll explain it in more detail. Alright, so I already gone ahead and created a folder here, and you can go ahead and do the same thing. And I have these images in this folder that we're gonna be using, and I'm gonna go ahead and open up NetBeans and create a new HTML file named index. Gonna go ahead and delete all the default stuff generated by NetBeans. And then let's go ahead and get started coding HTML. So according to our syntax, the first tag is doctype HTML, which will declare HTML5 to let the browser know that we're about to start coding in HTML5. Next tag is HTML. And we can also keep referring to this structure layout here. So all HTML code goes inside of the HTML tag, which defines the HTML document. Next, we got a head tag, and inside of the head tag, we have title with the actual content of the web page title. So let's go ahead and create that next. Head, close the head tag. Inside of the head tag, open the title tag, close the title tag, and inside the title tag, welcome to my web page. So again, this whole thing here makes up an HTML element, as opposed to just the HTML tag that you see highlighted in yellow here. Alright, let's see what else we got in our basic HTML structure. Alright, so the next tag is body, which is the visible part of the web page. Body, and close the body tag. Now let's go ahead and see what our web page looks like so far in a browser. So you can see we have a blank web page with welcome to my web page as title. And if we go to view page source, you can see the actual HTML code, which the browser is interpreting as HTML. So that's why we get a blank web page, because we have nothing in our body tag yet. So from this point on, we can just look at the HTML cheat sheet and play around with the most common tags. We can also look at the attributes and see which attributes go with which HTML tags. And you can always look under syntax to see the basic HTML syntax. And the most important thing here really is that the tag name has an attribute and we can assign a value to the attribute. The first one that we're gonna use is h1, which is the header tag. So this is just gonna make our font or text really big. So this web page is gonna be about snow leopards, so I'm gonna say snow leopard web page. Refresh the page, and now we have this large text saying snow leopard web page. Now the rest of the H tags are going to make our text a little bit smaller, so let's just go ahead and copy and paste this. So I'm gonna say 2, H3, H4, and H5. So you can see how those headers are getting smaller and smaller based on the increasing number in the H tag. So the strong tag is to make the text bold, EM is for italic. You guys can go ahead and play around with those. Let me show you how the bulleted list works though. So if we wanted to create a list, we create a UL tag, and the way the list works is you have to put the list items inside of the UL tag. So this is called HTML nested tag. Just means nested just means there's another HTML tag inside of the other one, just like we have a title inside of the head tag here. We put the LI inside the UL tag, and then we can have multiple list items here. And now refresh the page, and now we have a bulleted list. And if we wanted to have a numbered list, we would simply use OL instead of UL. So if I change it to OL, now we have an ordered list, which means it's ordering the list by the number. I'm gonna get rid of these other H tags. And now let's go ahead and make it a little bit more fun by putting the image inside of our HTML. And if we look on the cheat sheet, you can see that the image is a self-closing tag, which means we don't have to close it. and one of the attributes of the image tag is src, and the other two are title and alt. So let's go ahead and incorporate all these three attributes of the image tag. So the first attribute of our HTML tag is src, which means we have to specify the source of the destination of our image. And since my image is inside the same folder as the HTML document, all I have to do is specify the image name, which is snow-leopard.jpg. And now if I refresh the page, I have a snow leopard image. Alright, so let's look at the other two attributes, which are title and alt. So now if we refresh the page and roll the mouse over the image, it's going to say title, which is hello, I'm a snow leopard. So that is what the title attribute is for. And the alt attribute is the text that's going to show up if the image is not found. So if I created an image that doesn't exist, save the page, view it in a browser, and now we have alt showing up as snow leopard. And you can see that the title is still showing as hello, I'm a snow leopard if we roll the mouse over the non-existent image. Now let's go ahead and make it so that the image is showing up. Now suppose we wanted to make the image smaller because we wanted to see our list down here. So for that we can use another attribute named width. You can set it to 30% and height and set it to 30%. And that is going to make the image 30% of its actual size. And you can see that now our image is smaller than the original one. Alright, let's see what else we can do here. Okay, so here you can see that we have a background attribute which applies to body tag. So we can say background equals, and background is for setting the background of our web page. That's why it's applying to the body, because body covers the whole document of our web page. And so let's go ahead and set it to jungle, which is going to look like this. So that's going to be the background of our web page, jungle.jpg. Refresh the page, and now we have a snow leopard that lives in the jungle. Alright, so another tag that I really want to show you guys is the A tag, which is a link. And in HTML we covered that HTML stands for hypertext markup language, and the word hypertext just basically means a link. So we're gonna go ahead and create the link. So you can see that we have an A tag as a link, and the attributes that apply to this tag are href and target. Alright, so let's go ahead and add hypertext links to our web page. And I'm going to create the link just underneath the header here. So I'm gonna go ahead and open up the A tag and use href attribute, which is the attribute we use to point to the destination of the link. And we're going to create a second page and name it cat.html, and we're gonna link to it. I'm gonna go ahead and close the A tag. So now that we have the A tag with the href, which is pointing to the actual page that we're gonna link to. So now that we have added the actual A tag, all we have to do is add the text inside of it. So I'm gonna add cat. Now let's go ahead and create the actual page. File, new HTML file, cat.html. I'm just gonna go ahead and delete all of this, and I'm gonna copy all of this HTML and paste it inside of cat.html. And here I'm just gonna replace the snow leopard with cat. I'm gonna replace the jungle with clouds. Just gonna be another background. And I'm going to change this back to index.html, linking back to our leopard webpage. Also, instead of the snow leopard image, we're gonna use meow.jpg, which is the name of the cat. I'm also gonna change the title to cat and alt to cat. Under list, we can also change this to something like this. Just any text you like. Alright, let's go ahead and see what our web page looks like. Refresh this. You can see that the cat link is down here. Click on it, and now that takes us to the cat web page with different background and the cat image. And you can see that the link changed as well. So if we click on leopard, it takes us back to the leopard web page. So now we actually have a very basic web page with links. And just to make it a little bit more pretty, let's go ahead and put a line break right after cat. And the line break tag is BR, which is a self-closing tag. So we don't need to close it. So right after the cat link, if we put the BR, refresh the page, now we have our link above the image. And let's do the same thing with the cat page as well. BR. Now we have a leopard right above the cat image. So we can just keep clicking back and forth. And so now we actually have a website with 2 pages on it, and we understand exactly what the hypertext is. So hyper just means it quickly takes you to another page. So that's what the hypertext of the markup language actually means. You can see that you can quickly browse from one page to another, and that is the exact meaning of the word hyper. Just to clarify that a little bit more for you guys. Another tag that I want to show you guys is font, and you can see that font has color, face, and size attributes. So let's go ahead and play around with those now. Okay, so just below the cat link, let's go ahead and put a little description of what this web page is about, and let's go ahead and put it inside of the paragraph tag and inside of the font tag as well. Refresh the page. Now we have our text here, and you can see that the HTML also added a little bit of spacing here because we put it inside of the paragraph tag. Now if we wanted to change the color of this text, I have a ColorZilla, which is a Firefox add-on, and it's a really awesome add-on that I recommend. All you do is you click on this color picker, and then it lets you pick any color on the web page. So if we wanted to match the text with the design of our background, we can pick this brown color of the palm tree, click on it, and then you can see that the color copied to clipboard. And from this point on, knowing that the font has a color attribute, we can go ahead and say font color equals, and then paste the color value that we just copied. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and pick another color. I'm gonna choose this dark green of the palm tree, and then I'm gonna set the header to that color. So I'm gonna add the font color equals, paste the color, close the font tag, view the web page, and now we have our header as the same color as the palm tree. So that's a really handy and easy way to pick the colors for your web page. Alright, so from this point on, I think you guys got the idea. Just go ahead and play around with the rest of the comment tags. You can see which exact attributes are applied to their HTML tags. So that's really straightforward. And you can always look under syntax if you forget how something works, and you can look at this chart that we covered in the beginning of the video. And for my Patreons, you guys can download all the cheat sheets, diagrams, files and code that has been used in this video on my Patreon page. And that's it for HTML tutorial for beginners. If you guys like this video, please like, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you next time. Clever Techie out.